In today's video, we are diving deep into the diplomatic tensions between India and Canada.
It is obvious that the government of India made a fundamental error in thinking that they could engage in supporting criminal activity against Canadians here on Canadian soil, whether it be murders or extortion or other violent acts. It is absolutely unacceptable for any country, any democracy that upholds the rule of law. That is why we have taken such significant measures, why the RCMP chose to come out today and disrupt the pattern of Indian diplomats collecting through questionable and illegal means information on Canadian citizens that were then fed to criminal organizations that would then take violent actions from extortion to murder against Canadians. No country, particularly not a democracy that upholds the rule of law, can accept this fundamental violation of its sovereignty. Canada fully accepts and respects the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of India. We expect India to do the same. In this case,
and exploring how it can shape the future of immigration between these two countries. A single political scandal can impact the life of thousands of people who are hoping to spend the rest of their lives in Canada. So let's get straight into it. You must have seen the news yesterday. What does India's decision to expel Canadian diplomats really mean for immigration? It's more than just political noise. Could it be linked to the upcoming elections? This story impacts students, families, workers, and businesses. You must be wondering, is it really safe now to plan your future in Canada, or should you pick a different country to migrate to? These are real concerns, and today I'm going to help you understand the impact and help you make the decision. For easy understanding, I'm going to break this video down into different segments. Segment number 1, diplomatic fallout. What happened and why it really matters. In case you missed the big headlines, tensions between Canada and India have been growing ever since Justin Trudeau accused Indian agents of being involved in an assassination of a Sikh leader on Canadian soil. Of course, India responded by denying these claims and just recently took a big step by expelling 6 Canadian diplomats. The situation has been escalated to the point where India has withdrawn its envoy from Canada, which is significant because it impacts the bilateral relationship. But here's why this really matters to you, especially if you are an aspiring immigrant. Canada and India share deep ties, especially when it comes to immigration. India is one of the largest source of immigrants to Canada. In fact, nearly 40% of total international students in Canada are from India. That's a big number. Any diplomatic tensions between the two nations can directly affect the immigration pathways. Segment number 2, the impact on Indian applicants. Immediate changes. Let's talk about what this tension could mean for those who are applying to immigrate to Canada. Number 1, processing delays. Whenever there is a political tension between countries, one of the first places it shows up is in the visa and immigration delays. Canadian visa offices in India could feel this disruption, especially with the expulsion of Canadian diplomats. This means that your application for study visa, work permit, or permanent residency could take way longer to process now. Many Canadian immigration applicants experience months, years of delays due to backlog issues. And if the Canada reduces the diplomatic presence in India, you could only imagine that this would double or triple the delays that are already happening to these applications. Reduced access to the visa offices. With the expulsion of these diplomats, the number of staff working on these immigration files in Canada's consulates and embassies in India will be significantly reduced. This means less support and fewer resources to handle the influx of these applications. Whether you're looking to apply for a temporary work visa, study visa, or permanent residency, expect delays and almost a reduction in communication with the visa officers. Before we go any further, please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Subscribing to my channel is not going to cost you anything, but going to help me big time. Now back to our topic. Number 3 is Potential policy changes. Diplomatic tension may push Canada to tighten visa restrictions for Indians or make policy changes to reflect strained relations. In the past, we have seen countries introducing stricter policies on citizens from nations with whom they have political conflict. Students' dilemma. One of the biggest communities impacted by these diplomatic tensions are the international students. Canada is a popular destination for Indian students pursuing higher education. As I mentioned earlier, Indian nationals make up the largest group of international students in Canada, and many of them stay after graduating to work and eventually apply for permanent residency. But here is the issue: potential visa denials. Canada could quietly start declining more study visa applications for Indian students. Visa rejection rates would increase significantly without much public announcement, because that's something that's in their hands to decide on. Economic impact. How will this all impact the Canadian economy? Canada relies heavily on immigrants from India and international students from India to support its economy. Indian students contribute billions of dollars to Canadian economy through tuition fees, living expenses, and part-time work. Reducing the number of Indian students or slowing down the immigration could have a significant negative impact on the Canadian economy as a whole. According to recent stats from Immigration Canada, immigrants from India are the most educated and contribute significantly to fields like IT, medicine, and engineering. Slowing down immigration from India could lead to labor shortage in critical sectors, especially with Canada's aging population and declining birth rate. How could this evolve? I've painted a picture of immediate impact, but what happens next? Scenario 1. Relations improve and normalcy returns. Diplomatic roles like these can sometimes resolve themselves with time. If both countries decide to work through their issues diplomatically, we could see things return to normal. Immigration processing time may stabilize, and the flow of students and workers between India and Canada could continue without significant disruption. Scenario number 2. Prolonged diplomatic tensions. If these tensions continue for a long period, Canada may decide to slow down or limit immigration from India. We could see more visa denials, more lengthy delays, or even policy shifts aimed at restricting Indian nationals from certain immigration pathways. Scenario number 3. A policy freeze. In the worst case scenario, Canada and India could introduce certain immigration measures that could include freezing immigration applications, restricting work visas, or requiring more stringent background checks for Indian nationals. This scenario could have a devastating impact on students, workers, and families looking to move to Canada from India. Now, what should you do if you are affected? So, if you are currently in a process of applying for visa or permanent residency to Canada, make sure you stay on top of the news, make sure you stay informed. This situation is changing rapidly. So, staying informed is the key here. Follow reliable news sources, talk to people you know in Canada, see what the real impact is on the ground so you can make an informed decision about your future. Number 2 is consider alternate pathways. If your visa process is delayed or if the tension continues to rise, it may be worth considering alternative immigration pathways. For example, maybe other countries, maybe Germany or Poland, maybe Australia could be a good country for you. New Zealand is pretty open to new immigrants as well. So look for other options. If Canada is acting the way, if these tensions continue to rise, you don't want to risk your future for some political issues between these two countries. Or look for provincial nomination programs that you can directly find a job and apply for some provincial immigration pathways. I'm sharing a link here for my video also in the description so you can see how you can explore more about the immigration pathways for the provincial nomination programs. As I said, talk to a consultant. They are usually pretty good in staying up to date on what's happening. And based on your qualification, they can provide you assessment and see if you qualify for some other program, some other immigration pathway, or some other country altogether. There's a lot of countries that need new immigrants, qualified immigrants. So maybe that's something that might be a good alternate to explore at least. Don't make a decision right away. Don't rush into a decision, but at least keep your options open. Be aware of the other options that are available to you. If you or someone you know is in a similar situation, drop a comment below. Tell me how you'll be impacted by these conflicts between India and Canada at a higher level and how you think it's going to impact you on the ground level. how it's going to impact your future and your family's future. To wrap it up, the situation between India and Canada is complex. While the immediate impact may cause delays and policy changes, the long-term effects are still very uncertain. I will continue to follow this story and keep you guys up to date on what's happening next. In the meantime, please like and subscribe and share this video with whoever can take advantage of such information. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you in my next video.